You've heard of haunted houses, but what if something outside your door could sound like anyone you loved and wanted to come inside? On the edge of Willow Creek, in a town glazed with early October frost, Alex heard the voice for the first time. It was his sister Mia, except she was already in bed, 3 rooms away. The call came from the woods behind their home, low and shaky but unmistakably hers. "Alex, please come outside, ... double quotes. At 2 a.m. the voice returned, this time mimicking his mother, begging for help. When checked, everyone was asleep. Each night, someone new called his name. Soon, the neighbors heard it. The grocer's son thought he was being summoned. Then the police chief's wife reported desperate pleas from her own voice outside her bedroom window. Local kids dared each other to chase the voice. The forest, once bustling with Halloween pranksters, grew silent. Each family locked their windows and hung crosses. The voice evolved, sometimes a sobbing child, other times a raspy, inhuman whisper echoing real names. Its favorite trick, pretending someone hurt it, would scream, "Help, I fell," always luring the curious toward the trees. But when one boy vanished, Alex's family installed cameras. The footage, chilling a dark shape 6 feet tall, standing motionless beside the fence, lips never moving but voices pouring from it in stereo. Then, one Halloween night, the mimic knocked on Alex's front door, calling his name in every voice of every missing neighbor at once. "Harley, come out and play." Alex's parents called the police, but the mimic only grew bolder. Officers arrived, guns drawn, but no matter how hard they searched, all they found were whispers and shadows twisting between the trees. On porch cameras, they caught blurry figures, blank faces, mouths wide, a chorus of stolen voices pleading to be let inside. Local legends claimed a Wendigo prowled these woods, feeding on lost souls, growing stronger every time it fooled someone with a familiar cry. One officer vanished after following his own son's voice into the thicket, except his son was out of town. Their neighbors locked up tighter, haunted by midnight voices sobbing for help from missing children, parents, dogs, even the echo of their own laughter warped hollow, begging to come home. That Halloween, the mimic changed tactics. It called out as Lucas, Alex's missing friend, clawing at the door and sobbing until Alex nearly broke. Others weren't so lucky, drawn into the night by their loved ones' desperate screams. When morning broke, fresh trails of blood wound across every doorstep. Pets disappeared, lights flickered and died, and anyone who stepped outside was lost, their scent lingering in the frozen air. Cops set traps, motion sensors, lasers, recorded warnings, but the mimic always slipped through, leaving only static, warped images, and blown fuses. Halloween became a curfew. Doors were bolted, crosses hung on every window, and prayers replaced candy bowls. Yet, every night, the voices grew, sometimes wailing, sometimes snarling, sometimes whispering secrets only the victim knew. Soon, the mimic circled houses, its head twisted impossibly sideways, arms stretching longer than human, voice shifting like static in a hurricane. Sometimes it called out to you using every voice it had stolen at once, a twisted choir rattling the windows until even the bravest souls shivered and sobbed. Kids began seeing their own bodies in the woods, arms waving, faces smiling, calling to them by name, mimicking every movement. Some tried to record it, but the footage was always corrupted, filled with distant screams and white eyes in the dark. On the darkest Halloween night, Alex's parents lit every candle they owned, armed themselves, and waited in terrified silence. Time seemed to freeze, the wind howling outside. Just after midnight, the mimic began its ritual, tapping each window in town, scratching the glass with nails that sounded like bones, moaning with the voices of every soul it had stolen. Neighbors started turning up days later, standing in their own yards with empty eyes and twisted smiles, unaware of the time that had passed. Some whispered in their sleep, begging to be let back in, but none remembered what had truly happened. All that remained was the same chilling truth spoken in every half-remembered nightmare: you never let it inside, you never follow your own voice. But if you do, you never come back. And as the years passed, the mimic waited, growing stronger, ready for the next Halloween, the next lonely soul desperate enough to listen.